As I'm sure you've experienced, every time we move towards a new year, there's a lot of hype about setting yourself up for a great year, creating New Year's resolutions and goals for you to achieve, and overall making this year your year. And even though I definitely agree with the idea of taking a step back and looking at how you really want to enter into the next year, I think we very often get swept up in a million different ideas, and we end up setting goals that don't necessarily feel that aligned with us. They just feel like the right thing to do, like signing up for a gym membership. But if we don't have a true sense of why we're doing something or what we truly want, then it's kind of pointless, and we just end up setting some random goals, and then 3 months later we've forgotten all about it. And when November comes around, we're like, oh crap, what were those goals again? And then we try to hurry up to complete them before the end of the year. Hi there, I'm Antonie, and I talk about self-development for women and feminine beings and how to create a more empowered and energized life that you love. So if that sounds like something for you, make sure to click that subscribe button and join the community. So in the spirit of setting yourself up for a great year, I wanted to create this video walking you through my go-tos on how I evaluate where I've been, meaning the past year, and where I want to go, meaning the next year, in a way that generates alignment in your life and is a gentle but clear approach to creating that beautiful, enriching life that you will actually love. And to make things even easier for you guys, I've created a free PDF resource that is essentially designed on the different steps that we'll go through in this video. So I'll add the link in the description below, and you can go ahead and grab that. Again, it's for free, so there's nothing stopping you from getting it. And it's just a template that gives you the space to dive into the different points we'll cover today and have a space to brainstorm it, reflect on it, write it down, all of that good stuff. And it's up to you if you want to just pause the video and grab it right now and have it while you're watching the video, or if you just want to go through the video and then grab the resource afterwards and reflect on your own time. It's absolutely up to you. I do want to mention that if you are on a natural cycle and you basically are not on hormonal birth control and you're tracking your cycle and you're aware of the 4 different phases of your cycle, then I'd really recommend using that to your advantage. So for example, in the menstrual phase, when your intuition is at its strongest, would be a great time to do the more reflective exercises. While for example, the more creative and brainstorming exercises would be really fitting for the phase right after your period, once you have a lot of that brainstorming and creative energy in you. But of course, it's absolutely up to you how you want to do it, but at least you do have that resource available to you so that you can use it to make this even clearer for you. So let's really dive into it. The first step is all about the fact that in order for us to know where we want to go, we need to know where we are right now and where we've been. And we need to get a really honest perspective on what areas of our life are we doing well in, maybe even better than we anticipated, and what areas of our life could use a bit more attention and would like to see some more progress and improvement. And in order to do that, one of the most popular and easiest tools to use is called the Wheel of Life. This is a tool that I think was originally introduced by Tony Robbins, but there are lots of different variations to it. And the one that I've created and the one that you can access in the PDF resource is one that is designed to take into account your feminine way of being. And this tool is really helpful in helping you take a look at all areas of your life. Because it's really simple if we just tell ourselves to sit down and think about how the areas of our lives are going. It's easy to forget about certain areas. It's easy to forget to take into account both finances and health, or to remember that romantic relationships and relationships with friends and family should be different. And so in order to make sure that we're really looking at the entirety and we're not missing out on certain areas, it's an amazing tool to look at. And again, I wanted to create one that took a bit more of a feminine approach. The second step in setting yourself up for a year that you'll love is to journal or visualize about the year as if it's already happened. One of the most famous tricks for manifesting and attracting what we want is seeing it, writing about it, talking about it, experiencing it as if it's already happened and as if we already have what we want to have. And this exercise can be a way freer and more open exercise where you can just let it rip on everything that you want for this next year. Every big change that you want to see, every small item that you want to purchase, every little thing that you want to incorporate, as well as every way in which you want to feel. What kind of relationships do you want to have? Where do you want to live? What do you want to spend your time doing? It all goes into here. And it's up to you whether you want to journal and write about it or if you just like to visualize it. For me, I prefer to write it down. One, because I feel like if I sit down to visualize, it's so easy for me to get distracted and then get completely down a different rabbit hole of thoughts. And it's also really nice to have something written down that you can come back to later. And just a little note, if you end up having a lot that you want to write down, but you're a little bit like me and you get a little bit restless, it's absolutely okay to write for a little while and then take a break and come back later, and you can do that for as many times as you want. The next step in setting yourself up for a great year is to create this year's intentions. Intentions are one of my absolute favorite things, and I feel like they have been a huge help in creating a more empowered and fulfilled life. Intentions are a little bit like goals, but they're way more open-ended and focused on the process as opposed to the outcome. And they're there to give you a direction, a guiding light towards where you want to go without putting you in that rigid box that very specific goals can often do. And if you haven't seen it already, I've created a video that's entirely about intentions, what they are, why you should set them, what they look like. And so if you haven't seen it already, I really recommend you checking that out to get an even better picture of what these intentions are. Because like I mentioned in that video, when I started setting intentions for the year instead of goals, I felt way more supported and inspired, and it was a way for me to fulfill those intentions in completely unexpected ways. Because the thing is, throughout a year, we change and grow and evolve, and things happen that we just can't predict. And I just always felt like with goals, I would feel like 3 or 6 months after I set them, they just didn't feel aligned anymore. Because intentions are so open-ended, you can keep feeling aligned with them without feeling limited or pushed by them. So check out that video if you haven't seen it already, and I really recommend creating 3 intentions for the year that can guide you towards the next version of you. So the fourth step in setting yourself up for an amazing year is what I like to call a manifestation list. And this exercise is a little bit like scripting, but it's not exactly the same. So what you do is either write down on a piece of paper, or you'll already have it there if you're using the resource. And in this exercise, you'll begin by asking yourself, what can I do in the next 6 to 12 months to completely reinvent my life and this version of me? And then you write down a bullet list of the things that you'd like to do. So these things could be all things big and small. So it could be things like moving to a new city, or getting a haircut, learning more about cycle syncing, eating more organic food, starting a business, signing up on Bumble BFF, buy a new journal, or spend quality time with your partner. Thing is, these things don't need to be extremely specific or follow that very typical SMART goal structure. They don't need to be time-bound or measurable. They just need to feel aligned with you, and they need to feel like things that would bring you from this version of you to the next level of you. And every now and then, at least every 6 months, but preferably a little bit more frequently, you'll open up this list and look it over and look at what things have you progressed on since you wrote this list to begin with. Because the thing with this list, you can go checking it off as you go, but you don't need to be perfect at it or have it 100% completed in order for you to check it off. The point is just for you to get to a point where you feel like you've progressed on this since you wrote it down to begin with. Because the reality is, growth doesn't happen in a way that we start on level 1 and we just jump straight to level 10. It doesn't quite happen like that. We have to go through the different stages. We have to go from level 1 to 2 to 3 and so on. And with most things, we won't necessarily go from level 1 to level 10 in just 1 year. But we can start moving towards there. We can start progressing on the thing that we feel like the level 10 version of us would do. And this list is more meant to get you from level 1 to 2 than to get you the idea that somehow you can jump from level 1 to level 10. For example, if you want to eat more organic foods, you could put that on your list that you want to eat more organic food. But if you never eat anything organic right now, then most likely you're not going to jump straight into eating nothing but organic. But maybe you start eating some organic food. You start eating more organic produce, or the meat that you buy is organic, or the eggs that you buy are organic, and you start progressing on it. That's when you can tick it off your list because you've gotten further than what you were to begin with. You went from level 0 to level 1, or level 1 to level 2. And that is good enough for you to tick it off your list. And the thing is as well, just because you check it off your list doesn't mean that you have to stop doing it. Doesn't mean that you've done that and now you're done with it. You don't have to stop eating organic foods because you checked it off your list. And you can continue on how much organic food you eat. The point of this list is just to clarify for yourself what things are important for me and what things do I want to do in order to get to the next level of me, and then to celebrate yourself along the way. Celebrate the little things that you have been doing, even though it's not perfect, even though it's not level 10 perfect, but it's better than what it was when you wrote it down. And because of that, this list is essentially a sweet spot between those big bucket list and New Year's resolutions that might seem really great, but they're not necessarily that relevant for you to get to the next version of you. And on the other side, that list of very specific SMART goals that are specific and measurable and time-bound and all of that, but kind of just feel like they're pushing and confining you and feel like you really have to hustle hard to get to them. This list is meant to be that sweet spot, a list of things that you can do, but that would actually be relevant to this year and to getting you to the next version of you. And just remember to not be afraid to keep things small. It doesn't all have to be big, grand things like moving to a new city. They shouldn't all be that big because you're never going to progress on all of those things. So don't be afraid to keep things small and then just sprinkle in a few big things here and there. So this next tip isn't really something that you can sit down and write out right now, but it is something that I really recommend that you consider if you want to move forward with direction and intention in this year and not get lost in autopilot and kind of just end up wondering what the heck happened with the past year and how it could have passed by so quickly. And that is to get yourself a good journal that preferably also has a planning template in it. And what I mean by a good journal is one that feels aligned with you and what you're looking for, one that has templates that give you that sense of accountability and ease, but also one that has some empty space for you to be able to just be you and mind dump your thoughts and be creative, and one that allows you to create your life on your terms. And it holds templates for you to combine journaling, which is more of that reflection and reviewing and analyzing, with planning, which is all about scheduling and task upkeeping and giving yourself a sense of structure. One of the main reasons that I love to journal and that I would recommend anyone to get a journal is because it allows you to regularly check in with yourself and reflect on where you are and where you're going. Because it's so easy, and we do it all the time, to get stuck on autopilot and just kind of let life pass us by, when it's so easy to simply take 5 minutes to really look at where we are and check in with ourselves. And that can really change our direction and our perception of our life so much. I really recommend you get yourself a journal and you get a tool for you to check in with yourself and be able to review and reflect on where you are and where you're going on a regular basis. And also a way that you can plan so that you move forward with your year and your life with a sense of aim and direction and intention, as opposed to just bulldozing through it, crossing your fingers and hoping it'll turn out okay. And then we have the sixth and final step to setting yourself up for a year that you'll love. And this one isn't a one-off task that you can just do right now and check off. It's one that is meant to be more something you do throughout the year and that you keep coming back to because it will keep coming up, which is self-sabotage. Because no matter how good you are at visualizing and dreaming and planning, if you have obstacles that put you in your own way of success, you are going to get stuck and sidetracked from your dreams and your goals. Which is why addressing these limiting beliefs is going to be so crucial. It's so crucial to really look at what limiting beliefs you're holding and what beliefs are getting in your own way, and what ways in which you're saying that you want something but subconsciously you're resisting it, and what ways you're getting in your own way because you're struggling to really believe that you're worthy or that you're enough. So this is something that honestly we all struggle with, and I think in most ways it's a lifelong journey, but it's something that we need to bring attention to, and honestly something that just by bringing attention to something, just by getting aware of what's happening, is a huge game changer just in itself. So the first 5 steps are amazing and powerful, and I hope you'll do them, but this one is super important in order for those first ones to have any sense of value, and for them to be able to help you and guide you and support you long term. Not just in January when everyone is hyped up and going to the gym and eating healthy and all of that good stuff, but to actually have you stick with your goals and your dreams, for you to still be working on your goals and still be progressing towards that next level of you in August when everyone else has just forgotten about those New Year's resolutions or goals that they set. I want you to really feel like you are moving towards the next version of you, not just in January. And addressing self-sabotage is going to be a part of that, because you are going to get in your own way, but you don't need to, and you can reduce how much you get in your own way. But it takes some work. So if this is something that you feel like you should be working on, and honestly, like I said, that is pretty much all of us, I really recommend you checking out these videos to start that progress and start diving into those limiting beliefs and the ways in which we get in our own way, so that you can start working with yourself as opposed to against yourself. So I really hope these 6 steps brought you some value and got you ready and excited to start a new year and create a year that you are going to love. And remember, you do have the free resource that guides you through all of the steps that we just walked through. So again, I hope this video brought you some value. And if it did, I would love for you to click that like button. And feel free to leave a comment on what steps you enjoyed, what steps you want to do, maybe some additional steps that you do to set yourself up for a year that you will love. And just as a little bonus tip to set yourself up for an amazing year, I would really recommend clicking that subscribe button so that you can keep following along with new videos and join this amazing community. And before you go, make sure to check out this video.